How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, chat? Oh, we went to the wrong screen. Whatever. Since we're here already, might as well be on this screen. What is up, everybody? How's we doing? We got a monster move today. Let's talk about it. You saw Bitcoin above the monster 100K level today to start off today. Actually, as I said last night on stream, that we could potentially expect Bitcoin above 100,000 on the overnight session, and then when you wake up, the question is, does it stay above 100,000 or does it, retrace and get below 100,000? If you just look at Bitcoin as a normal stock, not the fact that it's a cryptocurrency, it's a speculative instrument as some people might call it, it's the replacement to gold as other people might call it, whatever you want to call it, go for it. At the end of the day, for me, it's just an instrument to make money in. It's like every other stock out there in the world. I don't care what the company is. What does the chart look like and how can I take advantage of it? So if you're trying to understand this chart pattern over here, this is a classic fail break of all-time high. You got that beautiful $100,000 area, the psychological level that everyone was calling it out 3, 4, 5 years ago. Finally, you got that level coming into play. You got the breakout, but as buyers and sellers move every single instrument, sadly not enough buyers above the 100K. You actually got a triple top, a beautiful triple top into the 103,500 area. On Bitcoin, it's actually 103,650 or so, but nice little rejection area to get involved in. I tried to go long on IBIT in this area, even though I said, I'm looking for a big short on cryptocurrencies. If it does get back below 100K, I'll be honest with you, it was very hard to get into the positions because MicroStrategy already was down like $100 on the day from the top. You got Coinbase that didn't really sell off until Bitcoin started selling off. Obviously, IBIT trades along with Bitcoin, but as Bitcoin was breaking 100, it was already so late in the day for the market. I was like, how much much more room is really there for IBIT for me to make money? So many questions I had to ask for myself, and I guess I just couldn't find an opportunity to get short today, even though I was kind of looking for that big play, right? I know Angry Buddha, who's in chat right now, he can vouch for that. 7:30 a.m. I posted a message in the Discord. I said, I'm not calling for the 100K breakdown, but if it does happen, things could get ugly, because a lot of people are probably going to use the break back below 100K as their stops to take profit. They didn't really take profit on this whole run up, right? A lot of people were being greedy. They greeded their position. They did not take profits on the run up, and once they got the 100K break, they threw a stop out probably at the 100K to lock in some profits. So you're getting some of those profits from that trickle down. You're getting some sellers piling in from the break below back 100K. So that is another reason for that move down. So you can see how much move just started, and I'm seeing a lot of posts on Twitter, or I should say x.com, a lot of posts on there about liquidations. You're seeing a 100K leverage account, a lot of leverage accounts being opened recently, a lot of leverage being borrowed on the cryptocurrency markets to trade Dogecoin, to trade Shiba Inu, all these other cryptocurrencies that are all going mad at the same time. But also Bitcoin being the father of all cryptocurrencies, even Bitcoin being leveraged 100x very easily by some people. So all that leverage getting blown out today on the break below 100K. Probably some margin calls on the cryptocurrency accounts coming into play also, as people are getting blown out, as they probably piled in on the breakout of this 1100, breakout of this 100K, probably piled in, and the failure to hold is pretty sad. One thing is to be noted is that bounce off of 92K on Bitcoin. So we bounced hard from 92K and moved right back into 97, 98. So that is an insanely bullish bounce after what looked like an insanely bearish all-time high break of 100K. So it's I don't know what to expect at this point. If that bounce wasn't as big of a bounce, then I'd be like, okay, maybe we got some big short opportunity setting up on pops on Bitcoin over here. But with that big of a bounce from 92K, not even rejecting at 95, staying above 95 on every single dips, and getting bought back up over here, it's like, wow, okay, questions have to be asked now. I guess 100K still, that psychological level that you have to keep an eye on in case Bitcoin does pop into and reject, to look for some shorts. But if Bitcoin gets back above 100K, then boy oh boy, obviously if you're looking at today's thumbnail, then Bitcoin is once again looking like Sydney Sweeney and not Pradney Beanie, right? Pradney Beanie. All right. We got a bunch of stocks today reporting earnings after hours. A lot of stocks actually reporting after hours today. Lulupath, Ulta, DocuSign, GitLab, Asana, Petco, woof, 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 HPE. So a bunch of stocks over here that reported after hours. Some growth names that I'm very interested to see how they moved, and if they set up for a trade opportunity that I'm very interested to. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to look at. If they set up for a trade opportunity, then I'm ready to smack that. Today, my day, I don't want to talk about it. I made a very dumb trade right off the open and got hurt bad today. Just gave back my whole month, and now I'm back to zero on the month. Sucks to be me, but it's only 5 days into the month, so we still got a lot of the month left. All right, so a lot of other stocks beside earnings moved around today too. Some stocks with the biotech FDC. I think it's FDC Catalyst, right? FDA Catalyst news coming up for TARA. That moved higher. American Airlines guiding higher. They moved 16% to the north side. Up 10% with no specific news on ACHR, with its sharp price bouncing after a recent sharp sell-off. Okay, I did not have ACHR on my watch list, But guess who is now going to make it to the watch list along with a bunch of other drone names? We'll see if these need to be removed from the watch list later on, or if they need to be on the watch list with high importance. UNH, boy oh boy, I don't know if you guys saw the video of the assassin taking out the UNH CEO. Today was a big move down on UNH. Not sure if tomorrow sets up for some sort of a short. Maybe if the stock pops into 600, maybe it gives you a short opportunity. The fact that yesterday, when the stock actually had a news day, it didn't do anything. Actually also had a nice bouncy ball pattern on the 5-minute chart, not like it matters. The next day, however, that $600 breakdown right there on UNH, that was a big short opportunity on the stock. So might give you an opportunity on the pop into 585, which is where today's VWAP is, if there is more continued weakness on the name. But if there isn't, then the stock should very easily get back above 585 and potentially give you a long into $600, either 595 or $600 long coming back into play if the stock is holding above 585. So potentially worth putting UNH also on the watch list. So a couple of the stocks that moved around today, and obviously Uber, big move down on Uber today on reports that Waymobile now head over to Florida, to Miami. Obviously Tesla trying to also disrupt the space with their own robo-taxi space and so on. So very crazy opportunities now being offered on Uber. Finally Uber getting pushed down now for some shorts. However, today I tried to look for the capitulation long, but the capitulation just kept going lower and lower. The seller on Uber was real today. They were real. They pushed the stock down insanely hard. All right. Going over some of the stocks that reported earnings, starting with, let's go into the daily chart first, starting with Lululemon today reported after hours. Looks like a green report. Let's quickly skim through the report on Benzinga. Shout out to Benzinga. If you guys are interested in this awesome software, check out the link below in the description. 2.45 billion, beating estimates of 2.36. Reported 2.84. What is this? What the hell? Athleisure Company reported third quarter, EPS 2.87, beating estimates of 2.7. So barely. Revenue coming in 9% year over year. Comparable sales increased by 4%. America revenue increased 2%, and international jumped by 33%. Total store count 749 after opening 28 new companies during the quarter. Inventories up 8% to 1.8 billion. Company ended the quarter with 1.2 billion in cash and equivalents. Performance in the third quarter saw continued momentum across international markets and in Canada. Obviously they're a Canadian company, that's why they said and in Canada, and international markets would be probably America, China, and all other countries outside of Canada. So good to see that the Lululemon is growing not only in Canada but outside of Canada also. Accelerating US business and growing our brand awareness around the world. Lululemon said it represented repurchased 1.65 million shares during the quarter. Company's board also approved 1 billion increase to Lululemon stock repurchase program as of December 5th. So adding another $1 billion to their buyback program. Lululemon has $1.8 billion remaining on its authorized buyback. So they repurchased 1.6. They're authorized to repurchase $1 billion worth more, that is. So still has about 1.8 left on the books for them to be authorized to repurchase. That potentially took the stock higher. Let's look at the guidance. Fourth quarter revenue range of 3.475 to 3.51 versus estimates of 3.496. So within range, 5.56 to 5.64 per share. No estimates on the EPS side, but if we compare it, is that for the full year? What the fuck? I guess they're calculating in the holiday season and so on, right? I'm guessing that's what these numbers are from, right? Because like how are they jumping quarter over quarter that drastically? Expects full year revenue to be in the range of 10 to 10 billion. Full year earnings to be expected in the range of 14.8 to 14.16 per share. Lululemon prints money, chat. They just print free money. Wow. So yeah, there you go. Stock up 7.65% at the time of the report at $371.50. Potentially a little bit higher than that. I won't be surprised if we're opening up into 400 tomorrow. So Lululemon, you know, very, very liquid company. Liquid meaning they make bank. They make money. They print money. 14 bucks a year for an athletic, you know, clothing company. Let's just call it what it is, a clothing company. And their PE is not as expensive either. It's 26 PE. So it's easy to sell to women. Game on, tutorial mode. Yo, you know what? You'll be surprised. Lululemon doesn't actually only have female stuff. Granted, they make amazing female stuff. You know what I mean, right? Right away, you just go to their website. It's just female stuff right away. So it's understandable that why people think that. But yo, Lululemon makes awesome stuff for men too. Their gear is actually awesome. I have a Lululemon duffel bag for gym. Not that I go to the gym anymore. You know, clearly been getting fat since I haven't been to the gym for like 7 months now. But they make amazing stuff. They make amazing stuff. Their stuff is expensive, so I try to go in when they're on clearance and so on. But even when they go on clearance, GG's. Like, you're not finding anything because people just run through their stores. Like, a pack of 3 boxers costs 74 bucks. That's expensive, dude. I'm not spending 74 bucks on a pack of 3 boxers. That's stupid. All right. I guess 138 bucks for a pants is not bad. 68 bucks for goddamn slippers. Like, come on, dude. I'm going to Adidas and I'm paying like what, 30 bucks for Adidas slippers? Like, get out of here. I'm not dealing with those prices. So some of these prices are ridiculous. Like, $128 for a hoodie is not bad. I'll be honest about that. $128 for a jogger, I guess that's kind of normal these days. These are also Canadian prices, just so you know. If you look them up in your American website, they're probably, you know, way cheaper, and you're like, oh, what the hell, Prad? You're getting robbed. No, these are Canadian prices. Obviously, you know, 1 Canadian shekel is like, you know, one US dollar. So yeah, our currency sucks. Canadian shekel, baby. We deal with it. Anyways, Lululemon, that's the point that we're going to talk about. Not an expensive stock in terms of price to earnings ratio. They make 14 bucks a goddamn year. They make 3 bucks this earnings quarter itself. They're expecting another 3 bucks on the next quarter. They're expecting 5 bucks on the next quarter. They're expecting a big revenue upbeat on quarter to quarter basis, but compared to estimates, they're not looking as to that big of an upbeat on the estimate side. They're kind of in range, but overall, I guess that share buyback program is what really got the market excited for this company. I mean, yikes, you could have bought Lululemon for $200. I remember Lululemon being this expensive. I mean, you could have literally bought Lululemon for 200 bucks. That's a steal, ladies and gentlemen. That was probably like a 15-20 PE right there. Now we're at 26, probably a little bit higher as the stock goes into 400. Do I expect the stock to go above 400 tomorrow? I honestly don't think we'll see above 400, and even if we do, it might just be a quick break above 400 and then a break back down. So watching how the stock sets up, there's a setup that I actually read about. There's a setup that I actually read about from the S&B Capital guys. Let me see if I can find this setup for you. Alright, there we go. So the setup is basically on growth stocks that report earnings. This is called the money trade by Spencer. This was written in 2010, but it still applies right now, especially in the current market where the market's so goddamn bullish and people are just buying every single stock that's breaking out, and they're just like, oh yeah, give me that, oh yeah, give me that. They just want to buy up every stock that's buying out. So S&B Capital posted this on their blog, amazing blog. Go check out their blog. The criteria is to enter stocks that are reporting really well on their earnings report, either off the open or the next day pre-market. So first, you're looking for stocks that report in the after hours. So MGM, for example, reported after hours with a nice little gap up or run up in the after hours, and then in the pre-market opened a little bit higher than the after hour move, and then had a little bit of a consolidation in the pre-market right before the open, giving you an opportunity to take that breakout or the pullback and hold into this range to get long. That gave you a sick long for the whole day. So you're looking for this little area of entry right here, right around the opening price, right around the pre-market high area breakout, to look for an entry. Here's another example, CRM. This was way back in the day when CRM was only $120, right? Gap up on the stock, and then the stock kind of trades higher, then another gap up on the pre-market, or at least another push up higher in the pre-market. Then you get a pre-market high range that you can take the breakout out of. You take that breakout, you basically risk the low of that range right there, and you hold it for the whole day and you have fun with that move. Here's another example, CMG, same thing, right? Here's another one, RVBD, right? Same idea. So the concepts apply. If you want that example in real time, let's go to Marvell. Marvell reported really well, right? They reported really well. They guided higher. If you guys know who Kulamagi is, Kulamagi's biggest and most profitable trading pattern is the episodic pivots and breakouts. This is in that same basket. So what he waits for also is to wait for the stock to open up and take the opening range breakout, and then he sells it 2 or 3 days after or something like that. I still have to learn the setup to master it, but it's something around that basket. So here's Marvell. Marvell opens up higher, runs up higher in the after hours, opens up a little bit higher than the after hour area in the pre-market, gives you a perfect little breakout of the pre-market high, and then never really looks back until the end of the day, where the stock closes into the highest of the day price, right? Or not, basically into the highest of the day price. A monster move over here on Marvell. So we're basically looking for opportunities like that on some of these growth names. Not that Lululemon is in the growth basket. I don't know if you would consider this name in the growth basket, but Lululemon, we'll be watching to see if that pattern is applicable in some way. If it gives us a pre-market high breakout, I'll potentially look at the stock on a 30-second chart right off the open for a little breakout pattern for me to look long into. Right now, the after hour earnings anchored VWAP currently around $370, so I'm gonna put some levels to keep an eye on for myself. 370, and then we got that 380 to 50 to the high side to keep an eye on. The stock potentially opens up a little bit higher in the pre-market itself, and then sets up for that beautiful setup that we were just talking about. If it looks like this in the pre-market, here's a stock that kind of didn't match with that setup, right? Here's a stock that actually tried to go higher in the pre-market and then got stuffed back down. Did not open up higher than the after hour area, and then just kept going lower and lower and lower. You could have potentially gone short on the break of that pre-market low if you were really looking for the bearish move. I'm not sure if the setup counts that in, or what's the EV on that trade. Is it back tested? I haven't done it. The setup that I'm talking about is the opposite of that. So I'm wondering if the opposite of that setup works too. Something that I'll potentially keep tracking on my own, but I just wanted to show you an example over here. If Lululemon looks like this over here in the pre-market, then you might not want to be looking to apply that setup that I just showed you on the screen. Let's head over to the next stock that reported today after hours. PAT, P-A-T-H. I can't look at the thumbnails anymore. Prad with cleavage is the most disturbing. All right, UiPath coming into play over here, ladies and gentlemen. UiPath with the big move up first and then a monster move down after. Look up Bitcoin bar chart pattern. What is that? Is that his like his hair pattern? His hair? Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. It made sense right away as soon as you know, said it. It says hair pattern. It was pretty obvious. Very obvious. All right, UiPath. Let's quickly go to Path. See how this stock reported after hours. Benzinga, where are you? What did I just click on my Stream Deck? Yo, I see people be trading off a Stream Deck. I wonder if I should start taking my Stream Deck into work and use that to trade instead. I wonder how that will work. It's all hotkeys anyways, right? So instead of me having to click multiple buttons, I could just use this and just go. I could just do that. Maybe I should think about taking my Stream Deck into work a little and see what I want to do. Make custom buttons, that would be sick. It's my platform already uses hotkeys to trade off of, so you know, I pride myself as a gamer. I'm very good with my keyboard. I can remember my keyboard combinations, and I have a lot of gateways coded across all the keyboard, so I'm pretty good with it. I still make keystrokes even then. So I'm wondering if having a Stream Deck would help me be a little bit quicker. I click. Actually, it might, because I'm just thinking, because sometimes I have to like think a little bit. I have to think, okay, I have to click, okay, I have to click this and I have to click this. And in that meantime, the stock could just flush against me and just really fuck my life up. So thankfully, I don't trade stocks that volatile, but you know, that could happen. But if I have hotkeys, which I do, but if I have hotkey automated on Stream Deck, that'd be very fun to do. You know what? Time to take my Stream Deck to office now. All right, let's get back to on track. UiPath reporting after hours over here, along with a bunch of other names today. UiPath reported earnings of 11 cents per share, beating estimates of 7 cents per share. Growth company, hopefully you popped up. Oh, you didn't. I forgot. I just looked at you. Quarterly revenue, 354 million, coming in at 347. Estimates, a little bit of a beat, increase from 325.92 from last year. Annual recurring revenue up 17%. Net new annual recurring revenue 56 million. Total annual recurring revenue 1.6 billion. Total dollar-based net retention rate 113%. I like it. Gross margin 85%. Operating income 50 million. Blah 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 blah. Outlook. What happened to the outlook? Fourth quarter revenue in the range of 422 to 427 versus 423.79. The low end is a little bit lower, but the high end is a lot higher. So I think market should have seen that as a little bit of a bullish indication, maybe. And it's also quarter over quarter, they're growing quite a bit. So I see growth on all boards over here on UiPath, but sadly the stock did not get appreciated by the stock at all, or the stock did not get appreciated by the market at all today, and they rejected that earnings report. What is UiPath's PE? Probably non-existent, because they're just about to turn the corner of profitability or something. Forward PE of 33, 411 million shares, 8 billion market cap. So they just kind of crossed that small cap and are about to enter the mid cap to large cap area. If I remember correctly, 10 billion and above is mid cap or something. So they're just about to crack that little day trading with my Stream Deck is a good title. I mean, if I stop streaming, which I want to stop streaming and only make videos. That way I have more time to actually, you know, do what I want to do after I get home, which is focus on journaling, focusing on making notes and making valuable effort to getting better at trading instead of what I've been doing for the last 3-4 years. So all that, I'll need a lot more time. I'm spending so much time just like being awake all night, typing notes, making, you know, I can show you guys a little example of the amount of shit that I've been doing. Like if you just click on, you can see these dates. You can see these dates. See how I've taken a break for a long time on these dates of making notes. But now I'm gone back to taking notes, and you know, I'm making so many of them, and these are all basically me kind of hammering in the trade setup into my head and getting better at recognizing the patterns. Like, I could have taken that trade, why didn't I take that? I could have taken this trade, why didn't I take that? This was a beautiful daily chart breakout that I've been talking to you guys about for the last few days, and if you just took that breakout perfectly, you would have been up like what, 6, 4, 5% on the day that the stock had 7% on the day. So 7% mover over here. So why didn't I do this? So moving forward, making notes again like this, and actually trying to improve. This is how actual professional traders who make millions of dollars behave. They're not lazy. You can see how I got lazy in November 21st, right? That was the last note that I made, and then I kind of got lazy, and my growth since then got diminished really drastically, and now I'm kind of getting better again. But I don't want to be me getting better as being like, okay, no, we don't have to do the hard work. No, you got to go in, you got to do the hard work, and just doing all that hard work over there, putting the notes in, taking screenshots, and making all the necessary things over there. It takes a lot of time. So I want to eventually cut down my streaming and just go to offline videos where I'm posting, you know, how my trades went, how did I trade, how am I looking to improve on this trade, on that trade. I don't think these watch list streams are really helping anybody. I don't think people are getting anything from it. I don't think people are, you know, I don't see any value in it for people. If it was valuable, I think people would have, you know, liked it. They would have showed up to it. I just don't see it being in that realm. I think there's value in it for me because I'm the one actually trading, right? But for other people, I don't know if there's any real value in this. So I think doing something else to actually give value in other ways, talking about how I'm going through my certain trades throughout the day, how I'm going through a certain setup, how I'm going through, you know, scanning for stocks and making certain videos like that, putting them up as an evergreen video instead of just doing watch list streams where I'm basically showing all those things anyways, but instead you know, people don't really kind of are receptive to it, I guess. So kind of having a better way to package all of that and showcase all of that would potentially make a little bit of a difference to the YouTube channel over here that I'm trying to build. But watch list streams for now are not really clearly. I've been doing it for a year. It hasn't really done anything. Hasn't really done anything, has it? I guess it has given me awesome friends like Bigley, like TH, like Dieter, like Angry Buddha, you know, so I'm glad for that. But I think it's time to start trying something new. Try something new. So we'll see. I know I've expressed this feeling before. Let's try to start something new. I'll see if I can actually pull the trigger on doing that or not. For now, we're still live, baby. We're still live. So I'm seeing growth across the board. They're looking good. They're gonna show more positive indications over here across the board on UiPath. Their quarter-to-quarter numbers are also going to be increasing drastically, almost by 50 million over there, quarter-over-quarter numbers. The stock recently gapped down on their previous 2 earnings reports ago, but we're clearly above those areas now. So you would expect the stock after a report like that would potentially try to close the gap and make a little bit of a run up north, especially when all other stocks, you know, kind of in the same. Actually, yeah, UiPath talks about having AI quite a bit, does it not? I remember everyone asking, what the hell does UiPath even do? Nobody knows, and everyone just says it's an AI name. It's an AI name. So the stock over here, yeah, right over here, it says, we deliver enterprise-wide AI. Shut up. So overall, nobody really knows what this company really does, and I guess that's why a little bit of a push down, even though the report was good. Based on the report and the move that the stock is giving, I'm not really too interested. Look at how choppy and sideways action it's been having for months, right? For almost half a year. It's just been choppy and sideways, and it was trying to break out, and it just failed to break out. So I'm very not interested on this name at all. There could be a short opportunity below 1380 for a bigger move downside. If there is selling below 1380, there is a potential long above 1380 if the stock manages to hold above 1380. But these are all scenarios that I'm not really interested to watch for and to keep an eye for. I'll put it in my watch list over here to keep, but as for an importance on the stock, it's very low until the stock really gets back above today's area at the very least and starts showing me back into $15. I don't want to care about this name at all. So if 1380, you can potentially get a long or a short opportunity there, but the importance for me on that name is extremely low. Wow, Wiwa, Ulta Beauty, absolute beautiful move over here. I was gonna say beauty of a move, Ulta Beauty. What a beauty of a move over here for Ulta. Let's see if we can find the earnings report and see what made the stock move like that. Reported $5.14 compared to $4.54. Reported $2.53 billion compared to $2.5 billion. Increased from $2.49 billion same period last year. That's not that bad. Comparable stores 0.6. Transactions 0.1. Gross profit was 1 billion compared to 992 million. Percentage of sales, gross profit decreased. Net sales, gross profit decreased 39%, primarily due to deleverage of stores and supply chain fixed costs and lower other revenue, partially offset by favorable channel mixes and lower inventory shrink. Opportunity income was 12.6% of net sales. The tax rate 24.4% compared to 24.3%. As we look for the remainder of the fiscal 2024, we are focused on executing with excellence across our key initiatives to deliver in dynamic environment. They just say bullshit words, dude. They just like bullshit words. Like, what is that sentence? Like, what are we gonna do with that sentence? Ulta Beauty raised its fiscal 2024 net sales outlook to a range of 11.1 billion to 11.2. So that's for the full year. They just reported what, 2.53. They reported $5.14. Yeah, they beat, but is it really that big of a beat? I don't know. It's not really that big of a beat. Your comparable sales are only growing by 0.6%. You're not even growing 1%. Like I don't know. This move looks very fugazi, or there could be something that we're not really seeing on the whole, on the bigger picture here for the stock. So let me actually go in. Read a little bit more. Estimates of EPS 5.14 versus 4.54. That's a pretty decent beat. Revenue 2.53 versus 2.5. We already saw that. This is a 1.65% increase from sales of same period last year, which is 2.49. But your stores are only growing by 0.6%, so not looking good over there. Trying to see if there's anything else in these reports that I'm kind of missing, but doesn't look like it. Yeah, sadly that is it. And the stock did manage to give you this big of a bounce today. That's kind of insane. That's a little insane. Potentially setting up for a good short opportunity tomorrow. The higher the stock goes, I think the better the short, honestly, because that move looks absolutely ridiculous. If that's all the report is, then I don't think that's very sustainable. But hey, I'm not an analyst. I'm just a day trader. So I'll be watching to see if it actually has, is that an actual high? It is. Okay, if the stock actually has a little bit of a reject somewhere into these highs. I do have too many lines over here, I'll be honest. I could get rid of some of them, but these are more like zones, honestly. So this area is a zone. That's a $20 zone, Prad. It's not a zone. Are you crazy? But this area is a zone for sure. That whole area, I'll kind of discretionary read how those areas play out. We're very clearly above the first zone that I was just talking about, above one of the lines that I just recently put in. So that's probably the low end of the gap down range. Low end of the gap down range. The middle end of the gap down range still hasn't been tested, and that's the high end of the gap down range. So we have a couple levels over here, and you can see how the stock is already above one of the levels and holding very cleanly above it. Now look, I'm not an analyst, but if I was one, I'd say this is a short. This is only growing by 1%. Granted, Ulta Beauty recently were looking a little weak. You had other notable mentions such as Warren Buffett dumping Ulta Beauty position from his portfolio. That gave the stock a big drop to the downside. Let's go see if Ulta Beauty's PE is extremely cheap, because that could be one of the reasons why people potentially buy the stock up without thinking, right? So 15 PE for a $400 stock, that people think that the stock can go back up into 600, into 1,000 and higher prices, right? So if that's the case, that makes a little bit sense as to why you got buyers coming back in, potentially taking advantage of the post Warren Buffett selling activity. This is all the post Warren Buffett selling activity, and now buyers are kind of going back and forth, and this earnings report absolutely washing out all the shorts that were taking advantage of the Warren Buffett catalyst, and all the bulls who were taking advantage of the Warren Buffett catalyst are now getting paid for it. So questions will be asked: are there sellers still in this area? Are buyers now going to show up in these new areas? It's a fairly cheap price for an expensive stock, so going short might be hard, but based on that report, going long, in my opinion, is much harder. Going long is way harder for me based on that report. We'll see. This could easily just be one of those stocks that sets up for that the money trade, as Spencer from SMB calls it. If this sets up for that trade, basically you're watching an after hour move higher, and then a pre-market move higher than the after hour highs, and then a nice little break of the pre-market high for a run up. There's little nuances to that trade, so you should go look up that trade if you're interested in that. Next stock on the watch list after Ulta Beauty. Actually, I did not even put levels for Ulta Beauty in my watch list, so let me put some levels in over here. I got the earnings anchored VWAP currently at 432. I'll put infliction level as 440. I'll see if the stock can stay above 440 or not. If not, then that's going to be the main question over there for us to play with. You're either staying above 440 or you're getting slammed down below 440 for me to look short. Looks like 438 had a little bit of a back and forth. First it went into 438. Was it 438 or 436? 436. Had a little bit of a back and forth. First it went to 436, rejected a couple times, then it broke through, pulled back, held, and then run higher. So 436 looks like there was an active buyer in the after hours. We'll see what the stock obviously does in pre-market. Very, very interesting. Very low PE. Small PE. Next stock, DocuSign, DOCU. Where did you move today? Big move to the upside for DocuSign. Now this one is interesting. You know, actual growth company previously struggled quite a bit to the downside, and now as a lot of the growth companies are doing the insane reversal moves, this could be something to keep an eye on exactly for that trade, that growth company earnings move north side long trade setting up for us. Currently, look at that beautiful resistance into $100. If the stock breaks out of 100 in the pre-market, you might want to look to get long 100 in pre-market itself, but if it doesn't get long through 100 in pre-market, you might want to be a little careful. Sorry, you might want to not want to get long through it until it does so after the open, is what I was trying to say. 100 looks like a nice and important level. Ideally, the stock is much higher above 100 for the open. It's much higher above 100, potentially in somewhere in this area, 101, 102, and then off the open it gives you a nice breakout of 101, 102 for a way bigger move higher. So we'll see if DocuSign sets up for that. Sadly, if DocuSign opens up in this area and starts trickling down lower, you might want to look for a short. Let's go read the earnings report, however, see if the report actually matches the move. Does the report match the move? Does the carpet match the drapes? Okay. 754.8 million versus 745.26, pretty good beat. 90 cents per share versus 87 cents per share, pretty good beat. Total revenue increased 8% year over year. Subscription revenue up 8% year over year. I mean, everything looks good so far. Fourth quarter revenue 758 to 762 versus 755, above estimates. 870 to 880. Don't see the estimates for the fourth quarter billings. Expects year 2025 revenue to be in the range of 2.959 to 2.963 versus 2.948, also above estimates. So obviously higher guidance, potentially guiding higher for the next few quarters and the next few instances over here that are coming up, which is exactly what Marvell did. So if that's the case, you will see the stock set up very much like Marvell, open up a little bit higher than the after hour highs in the pre-market, give you that beautiful move long that I was just talking about. Pretty high importance. DocuSign. Ooh, GitLab. Let's go. Higher move, but a pretty big reject. So this is a sad move, I would say, compared to DocuSign. GitLab got a little bit of a sadder move over here, but still a nice gap up to the north side. Let's go see what GitLab's earnings report is real quick. I'm gonna have to speed run this. It's already 8:45. Speed run. I spent a lot of time just talking about normal shit to you guys and not about stocks. 196. 187 beat compared to 150 same period last year. I'm long, automatically long. $5,000 or more annual recurring revenue reached to 9,519, up 16%. 100,000 or more reached to 1,144, up 31% year over year. Dollar-based net retention rate was a 124%. RPO grew 48%. RPO? Whatever that is. CRPO 39% year over year, blah 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 blah. Outlook sees fourth quarter revenue range 205 to 206 versus 204, so a little bit of an upbeat. 22 to 23 versus 14 cents, a little bit of an upbeat on that side too. Stock shares were up 7.54% at the time of the report, obviously went up to $74 and then just kind of went back and forth after that move. $74 means the stock is somewhere in these ranges. I love seeing that. Let's go GitLab. I mean, I used to own GitLab at $35, so not that I own it still, but it just makes me happy watching GitLab go all the way up again. You know, shout out to anyone who still owns GitLab, just because your boy TraderPrad called it out for you when it was down over here in the $30 area, and you know, now you get to enjoy the profits on the moves, right? Very easy, no-brainer name. Another growth stock, a big competitor to GitHub, so this stock could potentially get bought out one day in the future. Google can come out and buy them. As Microsoft already owns GitHub, so Meta could come out and buy them. You just don't know. You just don't know. So very big competitor to GitHub, a monster company, GitLab. I guess not monster, but pretty decent company, GitLab. Keep an eye on it. Tomorrow pre-market sadly might not set up for the trade I'm looking for, so the trade is a little bit more nuancy. You have the $70 area where the stock is currently holding above in the after hours. Hopefully it stays above 70 tomorrow, all through pre-market and all through the open. That way it gives you a little bit of a potential long to get into off of 70, and then it just trickles higher into 72, 73, 74 or something. But this is not really the same setup that I was talking about as Alta or DocuSign. Okay, not really the same setup. HPE, a lot of back and forth, so not really too interested in this name. And also boomer name, just trades very slowly, trades very sideways. I mean, if you just look at the stock on the all-time chart, that's pretty boring. Yeah, we kind of are breaking out right now, so a little bit of a change in characteristics as the AI names and the technology names are all kind of catching traction. But this earnings report did not take the stock above the all-time high, so I'm not really interested at all. The only time I will be interested is if the stock can get above the all-time high and actually start looking bullish above the all-time high, meaning it needs to start holding above $23, or I do not care what happens at all. So making sure that I put it on my notes, either stock goes to 23 and fails for a short, or holds above for a long. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. Period. IoT, what did you do? Ooh, are you into all-time high? You are. Okay, interesting. Go up, slammed back down. IoT slammed back down. I was going to be a little interested on this name for a potential move higher, but nope, moved down lower. So looks like we are getting slammed back down over here. Could give you some potential short opportunities if we do get below that little pocket of range that I just pointed out for myself, 53 to 52.50 area. If the stock is below it and stays below it, I think there's a no-brainer short, but that would be a question for tomorrow pre-market. So let me just put that in my resistance, 52.50 to 53. If the stock can stay below it after 10 o'clock or so, there could be a short, but I'm not really too worried about the stock until 10 o'clock. So let me put that in my notes. If stock can stay below 53 after 10, might look for a short. Asana, woo, let's go. Like these are the type of moves that we want, because these are the exact catalyst. Sorry, not catalyst. These are the exact setups that I've been just talking about. Beautiful move on a growth name, Asana. I've used the product before when I used to work in a tech company as a QA product testing team lead. Okay, as a team lead, the stock is holding pretty well above $18 right now. I'm gonna keep an eye on 18 as the earnings anchored VWAP, but potentially the stock is a little bit higher than the pre-market in the pre-market, and then you get the pre-market high for a potential nice clean breakout to look long. Wolf, a small cap name, I guess. But this name does have a lot of volatility when it does get active. So the question is $6. Either you're above 6 or you're not. So right now the answer is it's not. So it's in the same basket as HPE. Either it gets above 6 and then I can talk about it for myself. If not, I don't care about it. Either above 6 or fail of 6. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. All right, now some earnings day 2 movers. Sentinel, starting with Sentinel, big move down on Sentinel to begin with. But if you guys remember correctly, did I say that the stock could find buying? I can't remember if I said that or not. I actually can't remember if I said that or not. I'm not trying to be dumb about it. If the stock can hold our levels, can look for a short, but the report wasn't bad. That's what I said in my report, in my notes. That's exactly what I put in. The report wasn't bad. Can't look for a short, but you know, I think the long is an easier play. So the long was the easier play today on Sentinel 1. If you ask me, this was just a very choppy move at the end of the day. It did give you a little bit of a breakdown of I guess you could call this some sort of bouncy ball play that broke down later on and gave you a nice little short. But yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm interested to really trade Sentinel 1 tomorrow. It's just something on the watch list. I'll leave it in the background. I'll see if I want to come back to it. 5 below. This one hurt me. The liquidity on this stock was very low right off the open. I took that breakout right there of the pre-market high of 121, and you can see how the very next 1 minute candle immediately dropped down to 118. I did not have a stop out. I did not think the stock would go that quick, that fast to the downside. I did not have a stop out. And then when I tried to throw an order into the offer, the spread was $2. Okay? Or not two, at least $1. The spread was at least $1. So I'm not getting any fills. I'm not getting any fills. Actually, I can show it to you in this way instead. So here's where the stock breaks out. Right, here's where the stock breaks out, and people are hitting aggressively into the offer. The stock slams back down, and now there's no more size being filled into the offer. So I'm throwing offers, I'm not getting filled. I could have just hit the bid and be like, you know what, get me out of the bid. But no, I'm sitting on the offer praying for a pop. The pop doesn't come in. You can see how, boom, offers get slammed. The bids are just not getting filled. A little bit of fills on the bids, but they're not really getting filled. They're not really getting filled. And then later on, a little bit of a reversal. I do get to minimize my damage compared to what the damage was going to be on the stock today. To start the day, I did get to minimize it by holding it and kind of diamond handing it, waiting for the earnings anchored VWAP to come into play, where the stock did manage to bounce from and then went back and forth and managed to you know, minimize my damage a little bit. But even then, my day would have been red because you know, some of the other stocks that I traded, even though I traded according to patterns, according to my system, according to the plans, some of them just did not work today. Today was just a tough day. So I would have been a red day either way for me. But this one just kind of made it way worse today. So tomorrow, it'll be you know, I'll be trading with the sour heart on this name, but that's not the right way to go about it, right? That's not really a right way to go about it. This company, yeah, it had a bullshit move today. Potentially will have a better move tomorrow, and if it does, you gotta be ready for it. Okay, you gotta be ready for it. They had a decent earnings report. They guided pretty well too. They also, what is it? Have a very cheap PE. They have a very cheap PE. So 5 below. I'll put it as an orange priority for tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it to see if the stock can get back above today's VWAP and hold above 117.50. If it can, then I think that's the level right there for me to think about. If it can hold above, if stock can get above and stay above 117.50 after 10 a.m. looking long. All right, Chewy. Let's go to Chewy, see how this one did today. So a little bit of a flush right off the open, and then just stayed under yesterday's VWAP all day, to the point where today's VWAP is yesterday's VWAP. So very much a boring situation. Let's go to the daily chart, and inside day boring, don't really care. Unless Chewy gets below 30 tomorrow, so you could set an alert somewhere into $30. So unless Chewy gets below 30, I'm not really too interested to look for a short. If 30 holds, there could be a long that you can, you know, play with, just because how on the earnings day the stock had a monster bounce off of 30. If 30 continues to hold tomorrow going into the weekend, there could be a good long opportunity over there. But the priority is a little bit of a lower priority. I'll give it and blue priority. I won't give it orange, actually. I won't give it orange. Foot Locker, what did you do today? So bounced off of today's high. They bounced off of yesterday's high, which is the earnings day high. Bounced off of the earnings day high and kind of just hung around earnings day's VWAP, which is the earnings anchored VWAP. Today's VWAP almost exactly as the earnings VWAP, so a little bit of a nothing burger trade if you ask me. Their earnings report wasn't really that great. Potentially the stock breaks below today's low and then goes back into the earnings day's low tomorrow or sometime next week. So I'm not expecting the stock to have any sort of a bullish reaction tomorrow, no matter how strong the stock is. Even if it does, I'm not expecting the stock to go above 23. So you can potentially keep 23 on watch. Very low priority for me as what the stock does tomorrow, and if I even want to trade it. But between $21 to $23, that's the range right there that you can potentially look to trade the stock. Anything between 21 and 23, it just doesn't matter. Anything below 21 matters. Anything above 23 matters. So that's the idea when I'm calling out these ranges. CRM bounced off of today's low. I like to see that, but no juice. No juice. Today's VWAP is yesterday's VWAP. No juice. Today's low is yesterday's low. So I guess you got that clean hold of the earnings day's low. Usually when a stock gaps up like this after earnings, the earnings day low tends to hold for a couple days before the stock starts to break out and start running higher. So you could watch for that that little. Where does this come from? Where do those lines come from? Oh yeah, that's right. Those were the I remember now. I remember. That's right. Let me delete those lines. So watching how the back-to-back 2 days low 356.50. If we get below 356 to 356.50, there could open up some real downside on 356.50. There you go. 356.50. That could open up a little bit of a downside, a nice little gap close on CRM, and then a nice potential bounce back up from there. OKTA gave you a monster short today. I actually had the short, but because I was so emotional today after my loss on FIVE, I kind of traded this one poorly. So this one gave you a monster short right there, right into that area. Or you can even say here actually is where I took it. So this is yesterday's close, $86.11. Yesterday you saw how the stock traded. It closed at $86.11. The stock bounced above $86 a little bit and then broke down and just slammed right back down to where does that line come from? Oh, okay, look at that. Into the previous gap high, previous gap high. So slammed right back into that bounce and then broke a little bit below that. So a lot of weakness over here, pushing right back into yesterday's low, earnings day low, about to close the gap over here on OKTA. So maybe more downside, maybe a little bit of an actual gap close, maybe a hold around this area, and then a long coming in on OKTA. But back-to-back red days on OKTA after earnings. Just no strength on this name at all at the moment. MRVL. Day 2 was boring. Yes, day 2 was very boring. It just continuously stayed below 115 and just did not manage to get above it. But that just makes it that much better. If we get above 115 and hold above 115 tomorrow on MRVL, the guidance, the news, the episodic pivot, everything about the stock is bullish. So I'm waiting to see if the stock can get back above 115 tomorrow. Pretty high priority. This one goes in the purple basket for me. So if this one gets back above 115 and holds above that, I'm interested to see what happens on MRVL. Pure Storage, this one set up for a good short too right there. $64. You can see how it just grinded into 64 all day. Later on in the day broke down and just could not get back above 64 for all day, and then it broke down. So that was a good short right there on Pure Storage. I had that short, man. I had that short. So right now you could see how today's VWAP actually ended up into $64. So you could use that as your resistance if the stock does bounce into 64, potentially seeing a short opportunity, very much looking like OKTA. The stock just not having strength after its earnings report, sadly. Not having strength after its earnings report. American Airlines, big move on AAL today. Wow, look at that move on American Airlines. Yummy, 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 yummy. The name that nobody was watching today actually managed to be the best name of the day. Crazy, huh? Crazy how that works, chat. The pre-market high breakout. I have to put that in my notes. You have any idea how many notes I have to type today, chat? 10, including AAL. I have to type up 10 notes today. Oh. God damn it. Alright, we got this. We got this. I'm gonna be up till 12:30. Get this work done. Alright. Let's just walk down the watch list quickly. So American Airlines, big gap up. I think the idea is pretty obvious. The stock, as long as it holds above this little high for me, this little high area, which the VWAP says a little bit higher, but for me it's 1650 to 1660 area. If AAL can stay above it, then I'm going to potentially see if there's a day 2 play over here. But you know, slow name, boomer name, I'm not going to be looking for an aggressive long. It's going to be very slow, passive longs on this name. Okay, now let's go to the drone companies that actually apparently went back higher today. ACHR, JOBY, did you go higher? You actually ended down 0.25, but you started the day higher. UMAC, what happened to you? You had a 13% bounce, UMAC. Okay, not bad at all. RCAT did start the day higher, but also slammed back down. So most of these stocks did go higher, but they got slammed back down. So no catalyst behind them. ACHR up 10% today. No news, nothing. So potentially worth keeping an eye on this whole basket for some sort of an opportunity if it sets up. UNH, boy oh boy, that was a big short. So for me, if UNH can get back above you know, 585 and stay above 585, I think that could really open up a long back into 600 tomorrow. You know, the stock's fundamentals aren't really negative. Yeah, the CEO got smoked. Rest in peace to him. Prayers to his family. But the fundamentals of the company doesn't really change, does it? So the stock value dropping like that, it's sad. It's not, you know, not much that I can do about it. But what I can do is tell you that this is a bullshit move. This is a fugazi move, but it makes sense. It's a news move. You know, anytime a CFO leaves the company or CEO leaves the company, sometimes stocks make moves like this too. So it makes sense that this happened, but this is a buy the dip opportunity if you ask me. Let's actually go see what UNH's PE is. PE of $37. Why do I say dollars anytime I'm looking at PE? 37 PE. So, you know, not that expensive if you're looking at the PE scale. Coming into UNH, so I'm looking for a dip buy opportunity. Today's low, somewhere into the after hour. If we get an after hour high breakout into 585, I'm very interested to see how UNH sets up. Uber got absolutely smoked today. Smoked. So one level that is very interesting to keep an eye on is the 67 and the 68. These are the most recent lows on Uber. So if Uber manages to continue to pop and then keep getting smoked on this Waymo catalyst, Waymo now entering Miami. We know Tesla wants to disrupt the space, so this is something to keep an eye on, to look for further weakness on Uber. So big move down. If it pops back into these little lows that I have marked out already, which is actually the areas that I tried long and I got chopped up, if these lows come back into play and reject, the VWAP's already lower than these lows. Okay, so the VWAP is actually the Satan's number, 666. So if VWAP comes into play tomorrow as a rejection, all the way from 66 all the way up to 67, all the way up to 68, I'm gonna be watching how Uber reacts. Honestly, I'll even give it all the way up to $70. Not that I'm gonna get short into 66 and then give it up to 70 to be wrong on it. I'm gonna watch the stock as it goes into 66, all the way from 66 to $70, to see where the weakness gets poured back into the stock to join the trend back down. Because the seller who's in play today, they had to make a decision, and it was pretty obvious. It was very, very obvious, right? What a move on Uber. Roblox, nice little breakout on Roblox today. Same idea as some of the other movers, Unity, Roblox. Big breakouts on most of these growth names across the board. So if you're scanning for these stocks and if you have alerts in the right areas, you will be alerted and you would be rewarded. That's all it is. So you know, the alert would have shown you, you would have potentially taken that opening range breakout, which was what, $55, which was, yeah, $55 breakout. The stock goes into $58. What more do you want, right? What more do you want? This little hold is pretty interesting. I actually got long in that hold today. On there was a pattern over here. I took the pattern breakout and I captured that move all the way back into the high a day. If you look at this move into high a day also, it looks very much like a cup and handle. So you got a nice little cup and handle coming into play. Apparently on the hourly it might be a cup and handle too. I guess it's a little bit of cup and handle on the hourly also. So the hourly candle, cup and handle, comes into play if the stock dips into today's levels that it bounced off of, somewhere into 57.50, somewhere into 58. I'm very much interested for a day 2 long on RBLX. So watching how this one sets up. If this one sets up for something like a pre-market bump higher, the stock is now above 60 in the pre-market, I might originally look for a short, but if the stock is strong above 60, I might flip long on RBLX. So we got some movers over here. Unity had a pretty good day too, but I'm not really thinking Unity will have a day 3. But Unity, if you look at what happened, it held day 1 VWAP while it was holding below day 1 VWAP, double bottomed, and then broke out drastically to the high side. So if Roblox does something like this after 10 o'clock, gets under yesterday's VWAP, and then double bottoms under yesterday's VWAP or double bottoms above yesterday's VWAP, I'm very much looking for that long for a secondary move like this into 60 or above 60 on RBLX. So watching how this one sets up tomorrow for a nice dip buy. Team, TEAM, had a monster move yesterday, got smoked today. Wow, okay, today's VWAP was a lot lower than yesterday's VWAP. That's a little sad. They actually had a pretty good catalyst, but I guess they got smoked. So I guess now you're just watching to see how the stock reacts on dips. GME, Kitty, Roaring Kitty making moves again. He tweeted or he did something and obviously caused GME to halt up and go crazy. I took a quick little scalp trade on GME on this move, but the clear or the easier stock to trade was actually AMC. AMC was not as choppy and not as whippy. AMC was a lot more easier to trade if you're just looking at the 5-minute chart, whereas GME was a lot whippier and a lot crazier. So obviously sympathy names. If GME's moving, AMC's moving too. So worth keeping an eye on both of them. worth keeping an eye on both of them tomorrow. IonQ today, boy oh boy, what a monster reversal on IonQ. Right at yesterday's lows, the stock, well, not really yesterday's lows, but yesterday's kind of bottoming out into 5-day moving average area. We bottomed out and we popped back up. The stock found a bottom today right in that area, and then just straight one shot up to the north side where it gave you a little bit of a short scalp and then another short scalp in that area. So couple short scalps in these areas for IonQ, but a monster move. I think today's VWAP will be very interesting because this is now a new all-time high being created today. So just today, a new all-time high got just tickled, and we wicked above it. So if the stock can stay above 35 for me, I think there's a bullish long coming into play, and this stock is known for insane volatility. So if IonQ gets volatile, keep an eye on it. SOUN potentially setting up for a little bit of a parabolic short. This is insane. Okay, this move today is nuts. Yeah, it broke out, but on the daily chart, this is absolutely nuts. This is also what I would call clear blue skies, but it doesn't really come into that category because we don't have clear blue skies. We have this action over here, but I would call this area clear blue skies. This action is non-relevant to me. It doesn't really have any value to me. I don't care about that action. I should though, but I don't care about it. For me, I think this whole area is non-relevant until we go back into 18 and then see what happens at 18, see what happens at 20, which is just a nice even psychological number, right? It doesn't really have any value. Not that anyone's obligated to actually sell into that price point, but if the stock goes there, I'm interested to see what happens. Today's high, 14 bucks. That's the first level of defense that I want to see a wall into so I can short. If 14, 15 gives you a little bit of a fail breakout, I am ready to hammer the short on this stock. High priority. Above 14, I'm potentially looking long for a long into $18, and then I'm watching what happens to see on the stock above 18 into 18 and $20. Where's today's VWAP? It says $12.50. Today's VWAP $12.70. So anywhere from $12.70 to $12.50, I guess you could say. Keep an eye on that area to see what happens on SOUN. Bitcoin, MSTR, and the Bitcoin sector. Obviously, yeah, Bitcoin moved drastically to the downside after failing to hold above 100K. Bitcoin, MSTR gave you a beautiful opening range short. Let me go here and show you exactly how that looked like right there. Beautiful opening range short on MSTR if you were interested on that. Instead, I was just a deer in headlights and I did not catch that short. Wah, wah, wah. Prad, sucks to be you. Hopefully, eventually, you'll get better. MSTR, big move down. I'm not sure what I really want to do. There's a little base over here being formed on MSTR. Even though Bitcoin didn't really flush off the open, MSTR got absolutely smoked off the open. So I guess that was the indication that Bitcoin was not really going to hold above 100K. I don't know if it was, but I guess that was the indication. Overall, watching patterns, watching even numbers, watching double bottoms, watching previous highs, previous lows, and seeing what happens on this name. Sad move, says the guy who's potentially or probably long MSTR, and if you are, I can understand that. SMST, well, you shouldn't say sad move because you can always just buy more. Go the Angry Buddha style. Go fully regard MSTR. Full regard MSTR. SMST, which is something that I use to trade MSTR. COIN, big reject on Coinbase. Coinbase tried to break out, but big reject on Coinbase. So same basket of stocks. IBIT, Square. Square, Robinhood apparently entering the sports gambling section. Are you okay? The sports gambling section is being now entered by Robinhood, but that was not being appreciated by the stock, or it was potentially crypto markets going down, not being appreciated by the market, and Bitcoin's going down is potentially taking Robinhood back to the downside. I can't tell you exactly what caused Robinhood to get slammed back down over here, but this is a pretty sad move for a stock that looked like it was about to break out and stay above 40. Gapped up, pulled back into 40, looked like it was going to hold above 40. I got long. I got excited for this move. I thought I had a big long coming up above 41. The stock never got above 41 and it just breaks down. So even though I kind of had the right plays, it just did not work today, Chad. It just did not work today. Sucks to be me. So right back into yesterday's zones. I'm still going to be watching if the stock can get above 40. Honestly, if it can get above 40 and hold above 40, there could be a little bit of a play. You can see how today's VWAP is exactly 40 also. So that's why I'm going to continue watching it, but the priority is a little bit lower after today's reject on that news. PayPal potentially getting ready for a move here. Today's move just was a consolidation hold. This could be a 3-bar breakout on the daily chart. So if PayPal gets above $90 and you know, starts to get runny about 90 bucks, 90.50, let's say, you might want to be ready for PayPal. So I'm gonna put this one as a little bit of a high alert. Today was 90.30, 90.30, 90.50. So watching how PayPal sets up for a potential long opportunity, I'm going to give it a high priority. This could be a 3-bar play on the daily chart, chat. 3-bar play on the daily. Amazon broke above 220, gave you a quick little run up past 220. Not really a plan there for me. Apple, another mover. Meta. Didn't really trade Meta today, but Meta pulled back. I remember seeing Meta being a little weak yesterday and today. Tesla pulling back a little bit. Oh no, sorry, Tesla breaking out today. That was the play. Tesla broke out today, and I was not able to take that breakout, which was very sad. Very sad not being able to take that breakout. My broker had problems, and none of us in the office were able to take that breakout. If we had that breakout, that was kind of the only trade we needed. That was really the only trade you needed on the day. Tesla did have this area that it kept trying to stay above. It wiggled below it a little bit and then got right back above, as you can see right there. So watching if it can stay above these two little price areas. If it can, I think Tesla could potentially give us another opportunity if the market stays bullish tomorrow. But with the way the market moved today, you know, this could kind of be the day one of the trickle down move. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay, I'm just guessing. Maybe the bear inside me is trying to put that wish out there in the market, in the ether, and see if it gives it to me. If it throws it back at me, be like, here, you can have it, Prad. You can have it, Praddy Daddy. Best viewers, Automod. Thank you, Automod. Ban that guy. Okay, Nvidia. A bit of a back and forth today, not too much if you ask me. Kind of failed to hold above yesterday's high for Nvidia, really. It just really failed to stay above yesterday's high, but didn't really do too much. Down only 0.6. We'll see how Nvidia sets up tomorrow pre-market. QQQ, a little bit of a red move. S&P 500, a little bit red move also. IWM, also a red move. So all three markets ending lower today. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the meat of the watch list. Quite a bit of stocks on the watch list for me tomorrow. Very interested to see what type of opportunities pay me and what type of opportunities burn me. I'm your boy TraderPrad. Hopefully you guys found some opportunities throughout that whole watch list journey. It's 9:20. Quickly go through the IPO calendar if there is any IPOs to talk about. If not, then time to sign out. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's 12th of December. Okay, I don't care. Good. That's 15 million. I don't care. $52 stock on the 12th of December? What do you do? TTAN. Where's your financials? All right, we're gonna have to do research on this company when we get there. 12th of December, which is coming up very, very soon. So tomorrow, no stream, final stream of the week right here. I'll catch you guys obviously Monday, unless I randomly decide that I no longer want to continue streaming. In that case, you'll see me post a video probably, and more videos, weekly videos coming up after potentially, you know, or maybe it's time to take a break, right? Take a winter break, and then come back New Year with proper format of videos where I talk about my trades in specific videos, talk about setups in specific videos, and all the other fun stuff. So something to think about. Anyways, if you're following me on my social media, you'll know if I'm continuing to stream or not. So if you're not following me on social media, you will not know. So make sure you follow me on social media. Check out the Linktree page now. Check out the Linktree page. It has my affiliate sponsors and all the other fun juice also on it. I'm your boy TraderPrad. It's time to roll in the outro. I'll catch you guys next time. TraderPrad out. Peace. TraderPrad, he's here. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.